Hi everyone, I'm Kim Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. In a speech at a high-level meeting of politicians and church leaders in the European Union, Pope Francis told them that the first and perhaps his greatest contribution that Christians can make to today's Europe is to remind her that she is not a mass of statistics or institutions, but is made up of people.
Pope Francis has readdressed European problems in a meeting with religious leaders and politicians from the old continent. They met in the Vatican to talk about the challenges the European Union is facing. The president of the European Parliament, Antonio Tajani, summarized them as follows.
La riflessione di oggi sul futuro dell'Europa è quanto mai opportuna per colmare la distanza tra i cittadini e la nostra Unione. Per rafforzare il senso di appartenenza al nostro progetto, dobbiamo dare ai popoli europei risposte concrete sui temi che più li preoccupano: la disoccupazione giovanile, il terrorismo, l'immigrazione illegale.
The Pope called on European leaders to focus more on people's faces than numbers. He said that people's problems have been reduced to abstract principles. He denounced that citizens no longer exist, but only votes. Additionally, there are no workers, but only economic indicators.
Le persone hanno volti, ci obbligano ad una responsabilità reale, fattiva, personale. Le cifre ci occupano con ragionamenti anche utili e importanti, ma rimarranno sempre senza anima. Ci offrono l'alibi di un disimpegno perché non ci toccano mai nella carne.
Pope Francis said that Europe needs to recover its identity, and this provokes individualistic, closed societies who are afraid of coming into contact with others.
Looking now at news from around the country, Catholic bishops in Texas are asking federal immigration officials why they have detained a 10-year-old girl who has cerebral palsy. Rosa Maria Hernandez, who has been in the country since she was a baby but is without documents, was en route to a hospital for emergency gallbladder surgery in Corpus Christi when federal agents first detained and held her October 10th. After the surgery, the girl was taken once more from her family and put into a juvenile detention center in San Antonio. On October 26, Rosa Maria was placed into the custody of the federal Office of Refugees and Resettlement. Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra of San Antonio in a statement said fear is the overarching emotion encompassing this tragic situation. Fear and bewilderment being felt by Rosa Maria and her family, but also the fear that must be felt by some who view an ill 10-year-old as a type of threat to the security and safety of our country. More news from the Vatican. At his Angelus address this past Sunday, Pope Francis focused his remarks on the Sunday Gospel reading from St. Matthew, in which Jesus tells the Pharisees that the greatest commandments are, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself."
Before 30,000 people, Pope Francis reflected on loving God and neighbor, the theme of the Gospel of the day. According to the Pope, we've been created to love and to be loved, and this is what leads people to God.
Dio che è amore ci ha creati per renderci partecipi della sua vita, per essere amati da Lui e per amarlo, e per amare con Lui tutte le altre persone. Questo è il sogno di Dio per l'uomo.
Pope Francis also explained that a Christian cannot love God if he does not care about the people who suffer around him.
E Gesù ha vissuto proprio così la sua vita, predicando e operando ciò che veramente conta ed è essenziale, cioè l'amore. L'amore dà slancio e fecondità alla vita e al cammino di fede. Senza l'amore, sia la vita, sia la fede rimangono sterili.
Before concluding, Pope Francis recalled that on Saturday, Giovanni Schiavo was beatified. He was an Italian priest who went to Brazil as a missionary. The Pope proposed that Christians follow the example of this new blessed in order to live out the message of the gospel.
In news from Rome, inaugurating a conference anticipating the 50th anniversary of Blessed Paul VI's encyclical Humanae Vitae, German Cardinal Walter Brand Muller told participants that the acceptance of artificial contraception by some Christian churches and communities beginning in the 1930s has led to the monstrosity of what is known today as procreative medicine, which includes abortion. The Cardinal went on to say that in ignoring traditional church teaching, men and women today have seated themselves on the throne of the Creator. Humanae Vitae, published in 1968, underlines the responsibility that goes with human sexuality and marriage. While it teaches that couples can space the birth of their children for valid reasons, they must use only natural methods of avoiding fertility. Birth control, Blessed Paul VI said, causes an artificial separation of the unitive and procreative aspects of married love. And finally, the news, a first-of-its-kind chapel outside of Lebanon, dedicated to St. Charbel, was inaugurated over the weekend in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Cardinal Bashar Arai, Patriarch of Maronite Catholics, presided at the Mass, which was concelebrated by Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York and Bishop Gregory Mansour of the Maronite Eparchy of St. Maron of Brooklyn. Cardinal Arai said in his homily that St. Charbel is a sign of hope for Christianity and for all the people of the Middle East who suffer in difficult circumstances. The mosaic sanctuary depicts St. Charbel wrapped in a luminous halo in the Lebanese mountain near the St. Maron Monastery, where his tomb is located. Well, that's all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.